Hey friends, it's Jordan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you my TBR for the Contemporary-A-Thon Round 4, I believe. I've been very much in the mood to read contemporary books right now. Over the last several years, I've been a really heavy fantasy reader. The last 6 to 8 months, I don't want to read anything but contemporary. I've been like this huge romance kick and I keep trying to like push myself to read other things. I've been in a bit of a reading slump because I won't just like give in to my contemporary wanting, romance wanting heart. So this readathon could not have come at a more perfect time. It runs from Monday, February 11th through Sunday, February 17th. There are 4 hosts for this readathon. There are Chelsea, Julie, Natasha, and Melanie. I will link all their channels, all the information, the Bookstagram account, you know, all that stuff will be down below. For this readathon, there are 7 different challenges. I'm not pulling 7 different books to fulfill each challenge. So I have like 4 or 5 books chosen that I will use to fit the 7 different challenges. I'll tell you the challenges and the books that I'm choosing first, and then I will go into like a synopsis of what the books are. So the first challenge is to read the most recent contemporary book you purchased or acquired. That would be 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. Challenge number 2 is to read a book with blurple. Yes, blurple, so blue and or purple on the cover. I'm choosing All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover, which I feel like has a bunch of blurple on it. Challenge number 3 is to read a diverse contemporary, Wrong to Need You by Alicia Rye. It's the 2nd book in the Forbidden Heart series. Challenge number 4 is to read a dark, emotional, hard-hitting contemporary. For this one, I am going to be choosing Verity by Colleen Hoover. Challenge number 5 is to read a book that you meant to read in 2018 but didn't get to. I am going to be using All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover as well. Challenge number 6 is to read a contemporary in a non-traditional format. For an audiobook pick, I've chosen Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. And challenge number 7 is to read a contemporary with some sort of picture on the spine. For this one, I am choosing 99% Mine by Sally Thorne, which has 2 people on the spine. So now that I've told you the challenges and the books that I am going to be using for each challenge, I will go into a little bit of a synopsis on what the books actually are about. So the first one is 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. I believe this one is friends to lovers, which I have to say I don't love that trope as much as I love like the hate to love trope. Friends to lovers I don't always find to be as compelling to read about. I don't really know a whole lot about what this book is beyond that. I've heard it's not as good as The Hating Game. The Hating Game is amazing, so if this is like 99% The Hating Game, I feel like it's gonna be great too. That was a really cheesy joke. Next one on my list is All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. Wow, there's 2 Colleen Hoover books in this video. I know people have a very negative opinion about Colleen Hoover. I don't know why, but I just eat it up. I actually don't know what the general consensus is for this one. I've heard from like 2 people that they really liked it and that it was one of her better books of the bunch. So I'm excited to jump into it. I haven't heard anybody but those 2 people talk about it, so I have a very small pool of opinions that I'm pulling from here. I think it has to do with a married couple whose relationship is on the rocks and it's not as amazing as it once was, and them trying to reconnect. And I think there's some like infertility issues as well in their relationship, and beyond that I know nothing, but I have been wanting to read this for a very long time, and this is finally the week that I am committing to reading it. As I mentioned, there are 2 Colleen Hoover books in this video, so the other one is Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is her most recent book. This one came out in December, I think, and I actually think this might be a self-published book. Usually she publishes through Atria, but I don't see like anything on here. The only person I've seen read this is Christine from Poland Bananas Books, and she loved it, but she also loves everything by Colleen Hoover, so take that with a grain of salt. I think this is like a dark thriller romance, something along the lines of like Taryn Fisher, who happens to be one of Colleen Hoover's like best friends. So I think it's like a dark, twisted murder, inappropriate, taboo romance. I don't really know. I have no idea what this book is about. I'm super in a thriller romance mood right now. Like I either want to read thrillers or I want to read romance, and this feels like a convergence of the two, so I feel like this will be perfect. That's the first book, Wrong to Need You by Alicia Rai. This is the second book in the Forbidden Hearts series. So the two characters are from like the first book, so it's a series of companion novels. It doesn't so much follow the other family, it follows mainly Livy's side. We follow this woman who was married to Livy's brother, but he passed away, and now she is kind of into and having a thing with Livy's twin. So, you know, there's definitely a whole lot of things going on with that. The last book on my TBR is Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. I read a Casey West book in January and it was okay. Hoping that this one is better than the one that I read before. Not that the one I read before was bad, but it was just very average. The only thing I know about this book is that it has a podcast element to it. And I have the audiobook, so I'm hoping that the podcast element translates really well in audiobook format, because I really have been into listening to books that have podcast elements recently. I'm excited to see how that podcast element is broached with a contemporary romance story. So that is it. These are 3 of the books that I have on my TBR for the Contemporary-A-Thon Round 4. I don't know why words are so hard for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I will talk to you very soon. Bye!